And for years and years, I knew that I had more to give to the world, but I never believed that I could give more through my very own business. That was until I hired a coach, until I did the work and changed my life through changing my belief systems. Because without changing those belief systems, I would have constantly held myself back from pushing out of my comfort zone, pushing into starting my own business. And then even if I had started my own business, but still let some of that belief hold me back, I would have just carried on doing this business as my little side project, my little passion project. And I would never have left my corporate job. And if that had all happened, then I would never have been able to help the amount of women that I can help now, because I've got my own business and I'm not trying to balance doing this with also having a corporate job, because I wouldn't have the time. So why am I telling you this? Well, every day I speak to busy professional mums who in some way or the other have been letting their limiting negative beliefs get in the way from what they want to achieve, from the way that they want to live their lives. And I spoke to a client over the weekend, and she'd been having a really tough week, and she just didn't feel like she was doing enough. She didn't feel like she was doing enough, like she was enough. Not enough at work, especially after a difficult conversation with her boss. Not enough at home, especially after a challenging time with her mum, who had come to help her over half term. Not enough for the kids, particularly as she'd started worrying about what she's going to do over the summer holidays now that her youngest isn't in nursery. And not enough in her work with me, as she didn't feel that she was taking all of the right actions to get the progress that she wants to do, that she wants to get. And she was emotional, and I could see that she was overwhelmed, and that it was a tricky situation that she was in. And we dug into this a bit more, and she was soon able to see that she had this belief that nothing she could do was good enough. And that belief came from early childhood situations that were completely out of her control. And we talked about them, and we talked about them before. Now, the way that this plays out as an adult for her is that when she feels like she isn't doing enough, and by the way, she's got really high standards, she shuts down, she gives up, she concedes. And then she beats herself up, not only for not doing enough, but also for giving up and conceding and shutting down. So it's like a double whammy of beating herself up. Now, we're human. We like to be right. So when the starting point is, I'm not good enough, then you start to look for the evidence to back yourself up with that, because you're human and you like to be right. And then once you find that evidence, by the way, whilst you're looking for that evidence, you are missing any evidence to the contrary to you not being good enough. You will overlook the good things that you're doing, the great things that you're doing, the things that show you that you are good enough. And you will just focus on the evidence that backs you up that you're not good enough. And then we find that and we give ourselves a nice pat on the back, because we've proved ourselves to be right. We've proved that negative limiting belief to be right. Yay, what a dream we are, because we're right at being what we would classify as rubbish. Now, that client example is quite a big emotive example, and my business example is quite a big emotive example, but these negative beliefs can affect us even in the smallest decisions or parts of our lives. And the problem is we create this vicious circle for ourselves that, without perspective, without really standing back and taking time to think about the situation, because of course throw in a good measure of overthinking into this as well, it's really hard to break this vicious circle. And so many of these negative beliefs come down to I'm not good enough in one way, shape or form. You know, I have to do everything in the house so that I'm good enough and everyone is happy. I just can't lose weight because I'm no good at it. I'm not good enough at it. I don't want to go to the gym and work out or go for a run because I don't want to be judged for what I look like because I deem myself to not look good enough. I have to work for hours and hours each night so that my employers think great things about me and I can show that I'm good enough. I can't have any time to myself because then I won't be a good mum or a good wife if I dare step away from the kids or the other half, you know, for a couple of hours, because I won't be good enough. And until you start challenging the validity of these beliefs, they will remain there. They won't stop. They will just keep going in that cycle until forever and a day. And that's what keeps bringing you back to getting stuck constantly. So now it's the time to start asking yourself, are those beliefs really true? And if so, what's the evidence? Or is it just me keeping myself stuck? And how can I challenge those beliefs? So if you think this is something that you are guilty of, and by the way, loads of people are guilty of doing this, me included, regularly, then, you know, drop a comment underneath this video. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you, because you don't have to live in this constant cycle of negative beliefs. It's not necessary. But sometimes you just need a bit of outsider perspective to help you break them. So if you found this useful, make sure that you give it a love, not just a like, a love. And let me know it was useful. Other than that, have a wonderful Monday evening. I am now going to go and cook some dinner. Mwah. See you later. Bye.